This is Match Dean Faith Club. I know you've heard about us, right? And we talk about relationship. We talk about every matter that you think is a problem or challenge that's nobody wants to address. Bring it to us. We'll talk about it. As long as it will help marriage, as long as it's in line with what the Bible wants, we will tell you the truth. So here it's all about real talk. So over the week we had some few questions, matter arising that needed to be tackled. So I and my beautiful wife Michelle Ekchema and my people in UK, London, Foundation for Family Affairs. Those are my people. Dr. Akona and his beautiful wife Chidima Akona. We sat down and we had small matter talk on these questions, and we did some small justice to it. And I hope and I pray to God that you stay tuned and you stay blessed as you listen to this small matter talk. God bless you. So let's go.
Okay, so our first question is, I've been in a relationship with my boyfriend for 6 years. He's a loving partner, but there are times when he does some things like whenever he calls me twice and I don't pick up his call, he starts calling all my friends and family. I feel he doesn't trust me. Does this mean he is toxic?
That's a very good question. We must put a disclaimer that whatever we are saying is going to be generic, because relationship matters are context-based. You can't give something generically. You can't unless you know the specific situation. It's like a medical doctor. There has to be a prognosis before you can give a recommendation. So based on the information we have, is what we are saying. So when we interact with the person better, we'll now be able to know the specific context and give a more specific diagnosis and recommendation. So how big? Having said that, this might be a sign of someone that is something called OLD, obsessive love disorder. All right, that's somebody who is very, yes, and I will explain what that means. That is someone who can be very controlling, who can be, because they love the person in quotes, so they're trying to monitor where are you, who are you with, can you turn on the video? They have this intense fear of losing the person, and so that makes them want to hold on to the person more, snuffing the life out of that person. Life in terms of your independence. All right, the person wants to control. So you are dating, the person calls you twice. Let's look at the detail. Twice. So you miss the call twice, and the person is calling the whole family member. So that means that, and you feel that the person doesn't trust you. You're already feeling it. So the question we like to ask is, if this person doesn't change this attitude, are you going to be happy in your relationship? If the answer is no, you need to have very serious conversations and say, you know what, this is a deal breaker for me. And if we carry on like this, I don't think we can move to the next phase of this relationship. And so depending on how the person takes that feedback, will now tell you the next direction, whether to step on the accelerator or to step on amber and just, you know what, doesn't mean, hey, this guy is not working, this lady is not working, I'm out of here. No. Relationship, even when you get married, you're going to have difficult conversations. So you have to sit down and have difficult conversations, because this person might just be becoming intrusive. I've been in a situation like this where people, a particular time I was in a car with this gentleman, and the wife called him, and the wife just said, while I was talking with him, so I was laughing, and then the call came through. The guy just said, excuse me, let me just pick this call. And the lady just said, the wife started asking, who is in the car with you? Blah, 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 blah. And he said, can you give the person the phone? This was before this Facebook era. Give the person the phone so I can talk. So I had to speak to the wife. That was the most awkward phone call I've ever had to make. So these are potential signs that you have to have very serious conversation with the person, to say, I am an individual. You have to, what do you call it, rules of engagement. How do you want to, this is a deal breaker for me. And going forward, I don't think this is going to work for us. So that's one sign. Or the other side, that might be history around that relationship that may be creating this kind of behavior. So maybe the lady has crossed some lines before, so the guy still wants the relationship to go on. So his own way of ensuring it doesn't happen again is by becoming obsessive and controlling. That may be a possibility as well. That's why we said we can only speak generically unless we know the specificity of the relationship and the interactions. Finally, sometimes people may not have experienced this, but they may be in a relationship. They may have witnessed a friend or his part or the girlfriend of a friend cheating, and he may be thinking, if this happens to me, how am I going to react? For example, many years ago, when I was doing what we call National Youth Service, many people who were married were in a serious relationship. They came on what we call the campground, and they were doing all kind of stuff. So people were exposed to that kind of a situation. They may say, "Is this how my fiance is going to be behaving when she's on this ground?" So such a person may be triggered by such occurrences. So we can only speak generically, and that's what I like to say to that. So have very serious conversation, and
And then for the other part,
yes.
if the issue is that she probably crossed some lines in the past, then she needs to be stepping up to allay those fears.
Fantastic.
She needs to prove herself someone who is trustworthy. So I'm sure over time, he would suspect you, but over time, he will get used to the fact that this is who you are. You're truly a changed person.
Absolutely.
You've got to show yourself. You've got to prove yourself. Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah.
And
from my own point of view, I agree with everything you guys have said, but I also feel that if it's better to break up while dating than take the same thing into marriage. If you continue in this relationship and you're not seeing any progress, because once there's no trust, you've given it a shot for the woman or for the guy. You've tried everything possible, just like Chidima said, just to end back that trust, and you're not seeing any headway, and it continues 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 years, and there's no change. I would just tell you better drop that relationship, because guess what? That marriage is going to drain the heck out of you. I'm telling you, just like what Dr. Akuna said. You know what it means? You're talking to someone and they're asking you, who are you with? Can I talk to the person? Can I see the person? Do a video call. Show me who is there. Show me. Come on, man. Nah. Hey, I'm just going to tell you, break up. Leave that relationship. There are a lot of people out there. So, babe, what do you think about this?
Oh, everybody already touched on everything. Like Dr. Kona said, this is generic. Yes, if it's something that's been happening for the past 6 years, let's say the girl or one of the partners made a mistake, and now one is insecure. But 6 years though, But then again, we don't know if it's been happening for that long. They've been in a relationship for 6 years. And like you said, if it's something that's happened way beyond the norm, or it happened without another thing that triggered it, and even if something triggered it, how long has it happened? And do you want to really carry this into a relationship? Do you want to carry this into a marriage? If somebody has hurt you enough that you're insecure, that you have to check on them and say, show me video call and all that, and you're not married yet, do you not want your peace? Do you really want to still go ahead and marry this person? You see, if you're already in a marriage with them, that's different. But if you're not married yet, you need to reconsider. You need to think again, So
as created, it is hard for trust is earned. You understand? You have to. So one thing about trust is it takes so much to build trust, but one mistake can just ruin everything. You keep working hard though. It's draining. It is very draining. So that's how I got. Babe, go to the next question. We can chop this out. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question talks about harassment. It says, my boyfriend has a habit of wanting to have sex with me every time he wants it. And when I say I'm not interested, he would spank me and sometimes use force on me. When I spoke with him about it, he said he was not forcing me, but that he likes to dominate me. So whenever I say no to him, he gets more turned on. Please, I don't know anything about being dominant or submissive when it comes to sex. Does this mean he can be violent with me every time we have sex? Because I consider this habit toxic.
I agree with her, to be honest. I don't like the way I felt just listening to that. That was just so off. If she doesn't want sex, I think you're being disrespectful, crossing the lines, wanting to insist on having it. And
That's rape.
what gives you the right to think that you have a right to her body? You know, if she puts a claim for rape at that point, she would be right and it would be considered. So I think he's crossing very hardcore lines at this point. He's not just being toxic. He's actually committing a criminal offense. You know, he has no right to her body. He needs to be treating her respectfully. And if someone doesn't have regard for you, for your body, if someone has no regard for your no, then it leaves me concerned what you're doing with this person. What exactly are you waiting for to say? Because for him to say it turns him on, are you a narcissist? That's so off. That's so off. So
I think
she needs to show herself some respect, and because
yeah.
people treat you the way you come across. So if you give him the impression that it's okay for you to be treated like that, then it would carry on. But if you show yourself some respect, and that's him crossing boundary lines. Go on, sorry.
Yeah. So Chima, I'm just gonna say, man, I agree with you. Like, it sounds very off to me. It's I think the person needs to be checked mentally, and because it's rape. When you like, and I don't know why anyone would enjoy that kind of relationship, because that's demonic. It is satanic. So marriage and relationship, everything is consent. So if your wife is not in the mood, this no is no, yes is yes, and that's the way. If you try that here in America, you're going to jail. All right, you will go to jail. So I don't think we should dwell on this topic. It's you've answered all the questions.
It's a very important topic. Now, this person is saying it's their boyfriend doing this, right? We already know that it takes two to tango when it comes to anything. I'm not saying that one person is asking for abuse. I'm saying, right, they're not married yet, just like I said in the first one. The person with the major malfunction is the boyfriend, right, who assumes that it's okay to defile another human being to satisfy his own pleasure.
Something she said that caught my attention was the fact that I think this lady may have self-esteem issues.
That's where I was getting at, because yes. So we need to address this. Yes, they're already having sex before marriage, and that's not okay. But we also need to address certain things. And it's not just about sex. It's like, if someone's treating you a certain way, they will only treat you that way if you allow it. And the more you allow it, the more you're telling them, hey, yes, that's okay for you to do this and make these excuses. But when you nip it in the bud, when you say, I'm out, especially, sometimes people don't understand that if I'm not married to you, I am not committed to you. I don't have to stay. There's nothing that binds me and you together in the eyes of God. And if I see something so toxic like this, or you are abusing my person, or you're messing with my self-esteem, my mental health, I need to be out. That's a red flag. And I know we're going to talk about this later in the future. That's a red flag that you need to run from and work on yourself first. Build your self-esteem back to where it needs to be before you even start a whole new relationship. Don't allow such a thing. Whether he's the one with the problem or not, you need to fix yourself and build yourself back up. You know what I mean? That's what I was getting at.
Anyway, go ahead, doctor.
Yeah, just to add one thing, that it's appalling to see that she's in an abusive relationship and she doesn't even know it.
Yes.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, sometimes, when a frog, there's an experiment that was conducted some time ago, a frog was kept in hot water. And the water kept boiling and boiling and boiling. And the frog did not jump out until it died. They now found out that when you boil water to the top temperature and you throw a frog into it, it jumps out immediately. But when the frog is in the hot water and you keep changing the temperature, it keeps adjusting, thinking things will change until it dies.
I like that.
That frog jump out of that water. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
That's really great.
So babe, can we I have like 5 more minutes. So yeah.
Okay, so I guess we have only one more we have time for one more question. This one says, I find it hard to make decisions for myself. I always ask my boyfriend for his opinion, and when he gives me an opinion, I don't like it. I feel scared to go against his opinion so that he won't think I disrespected him. Is this a toxic path?
Is it a toxic
What is the
relationship?
opinion?
Yes, is
Go
it a
ahead.
toxic
Well,
relationship? I think there may be some attachment issue here in the sense that, some people have this parent-child structure in a relationship where
Yeah.
one person doesn't have a voice. So this is not an equal footing. These two people, they're in a relationship, but they're not equal. In a relationship, both of you need to be equal, but your position will be different. So the man, when you're married, not when you're dating. When you're married, the man is the head. But both of you are two equal human beings. Your opinion counts on everything. Already, this lady is in a relationship where she doesn't feel like her voice matters, and she's feeling like she doesn't have value. And so, in a situation where you are feeling that you can't talk, and when you say no, you feel there's a threat to your identity, threat to your peace. I don't think it's a very good sign. As women have this intuitive capability. They can sense things even if there's no practical evidence in front of them. But this one, you have both practical evidence and you are feeling something in your guts. I think you should reevaluate that relationship. Howbeit, the issue is not just the person. I'm sure you may have been in similar situations like this. So you might be the one who is attracting people like this because there is something about you within that needs to be fixed. There is an identity about you. There's a way you see yourself. You feel that you don't have. Oh, that was the word she used. She doesn't have the right idea, so she always rely on him. How I like what my wife said earlier on. Work on yourself and develop yourself. I know that's easier said than done, but if you might need to see a therapist, that will help you work on your self-esteem. Your self-esteem is so critical that it influences the kind of job you apply to.
It does. It
It
does.
influences the kind of people that are in your circle. It influences the kind of relationship you feel you deserve. It influences how you go around, the kind of opportunities you attract. Some of us don't apply for some job because if people like us do not work in that place, it's because of self-esteem, not because of your capabilities alone. So self-esteem is so fundamental to everything, to how you even parent. Some people use their children as a way to pump themselves up. Look at my child, look at my child. It's not because you are looking at it, it's because you are using the child to pump yourself. So the child does things that you cannot penalize the child, or you do it harshly too much because there is something about you that you are using that child to mirror. We need to work on how we see ourselves. You need to see yourself, if you're a Christian, see yourself the way God sees you. For example, how do I see myself? I see myself this way, this way, this way. Now, how does God see you? You need to find a way to replace that image. Otherwise, you're going to keep attracting people that will treat you like footmats, and you will not be able to get out of it. You cannot just walk away because you feel that you are going to be losing something significant. The only people that can walk away from a relationship are healthy people, not broken people.
Yes, I agree with that.
yes.
Just to add to what he said, right? If you're a child of God, you are a priest. And again, you have rights because for you to have that right to approach God's throne of grace, you've obtained mercy. And since you have mercy, you have grace, you have God's favor upon your life. Don't forget that you are wonderfully made, and because you're a prince and you're a king, you're a queen, right? You cannot see yourself less than what God has made you. And once you accept Christ, you're a new creature. Everything is past. Your weaknesses, everything is all changed. And when you have that mentality, nobody should treat you otherwise. And I'm going to say this: the way you define yourself is the way people see you. There are many a times when people look at me, they're like, "Ah, man, Frank, man, I'm just going to tell you the truth. Sometimes I don't even have those things. But just because I have this confidence, and when you have confidence, sometimes people might think your confidence is pride. It's not pride. It's just that I know who I am. They ask me, where are you from? I said, look, I'm not Nigerian. I'm from heaven. I speak in the Holy Ghost. So when I say that, there's this confidence, and I can speak in tongues anywhere, the market anywhere. So because I have that confidence, and I'm a soldier in God, soldier in the world. So the confidence is yapa. It's too much, right? So because it's too much, so if you can't deal with it, then that's your problem, not my problem. And as a Christian and as a believer, you need to know who you are. And once you know who you are, I'm telling you, no man, no woman would treat you less of who you are. You are a king, you are a queen, you are a child of God. First of all, then you are your father's son, you're your father's daughter. That's who you are. And when you have that, just like what Dr. Akona said, once you know who you are, there's no who is that? Who is that devil coming treating you like as if you're nothing? Yeah, that's all I got.
Can I add something to that? So,
Yeah.
I don't know if I call it secret, but this question is actually from the same person who's going through the sexual harassment with the boyfriend. And so, like you already said, how we said it in the first question about the sex is develop yourself. Okay, like you said, my husband said, know who you are, and this is a major problem. It's not just, oh yeah, here, know who you are, get out of this relationship. My personal advice is find a mentor, a God-fearing mentor, right? Find also things that you are good at, or learn a new trade, something to help you build your self-esteem. Because when you're confident in yourself, nobody else can treat you like crazy, right? And read the Bible. The Bible is a reflection of who you are. God tells you who you are, how He holds you. There's something that Pastor Apostle Joshua Selman said. He says, "We are the apple of God's eye." Try touching a man's eye. Try poking at somebody's eye and see how they're going to defend themselves, defend their eye. Why? Because that eye is important to them. We are the apple of God's eye. And when we remember that, we shouldn't allow any devil, anybody to treat us less than what we are. So I think it's a whole topic on self-esteem, knowing who you are, accepting who God has said that you are, and not allowing anything less. And if you're in a relationship, yes.
Babe, I think we should have a section with Dr. Akona and Chidima on self-esteem, because this topic is something that a lot of people are going through a lot. Even those in marriage are actually suffering from very low self-esteem, and
dominance.
And some spouse are actually dominating their spouse. So Chidima, just to ask you, yesterday when I told Michelle, come here, let me tell you, in my house, right? We're both military. Michelle stubborn, where me are stubborn, all right? So if not, just to use ourselves as an example, right? But somebody hearing us outside will be like, Afra, and I lie you, everything I do, now this girl, they make me do everything what they do. So she's my boss, all right? But I also want to say this, right? If I didn't have God and I didn't have Christ, right? And Michelle didn't have God and didn't have Christ, maybe one of us would have been dominating each other, but no, there's no domination. It's a partnership. And I'm going to say this, right? We need to come online and talk more about self-esteem so we can help some people. And some people are actually, some people, even believers, people in my role as pastors, are actually dominating their wives. While some people, their wives are actually dominating the men. And I'm telling you, we come out and pretend. This is a topic that needs to be addressed. Self-esteem, knowing who you are, and genuinely and intentionally adjusting to how God intends for marriage and relationship to be. You can't treat people like as if they're nothing. Yeah.
All in favor of this person leaving this boyfriend? Say aye. Because they're not married yet, and this relationship is already going down the drain. So yes, we're all in favor of that. We hope this person will take our advice.
All right. So babe, you're echoing back, but just to finalize this, I want to say it was a very good section, and I want to say thank you, Dr. Akona. Do you guys have any other thing to say in 1 minute before we end? Dr. Akona and Chidima.
I'll just say to this person, you are lovable, you are worthy.
Yes.
The price, you are valuable. The price of a thing is rated by how much is put on it. Now, when God was to prove His love for us, He sent His Son, priceless Son, Jesus, to come die for us. So that tells you your worth before God. So if no one has ever told you that, you need to look yourself in the mirror and say to yourself, I am worthy of God's love. I am valuable. I am lovable. I will find someone who will treat me better. I deserve better. So treat yourself as good.
Yes. Awesome.
All right. Thank you. It was a great section. So Chidima, I think it's now time for you to. God bless your